Hello and welcome to Into the Woods with Holly Worton. This podcast has evolved over the 5+ years since it first launched. From now on, I'm going to be talking about deepening your connection with yourself, taking inspired action, and really trusting yourself and your intuition. And also mindset, of course, but mindset of all kinds, not just business mindset. I think. Things are changing for me, as you may have noticed if you've been following me online or listening to this podcast, so anything goes here. I hope you stay along for the ride. Thank you so much for joining us today, and now let's get into this week's episode. Hello and welcome to the Into the Woods podcast, episode 275. This is your host, Holly Worton, and I'm back with another solo episode. I do promise that I will be coming back with Joanna Hennon and other exciting people coming soon. This has been a time, as you know, of transition. I feel like I say that every few months, but I'm really looking forward to getting some other people back on this show to join me, not in the form of interviews, but in the form of really, I think, deep and interesting conversations like I've been having with Joanna Hennon and Joe Casey over the course of this year and previous years. So, I'm back with a solo episode for today. And today I'm going to talk about Samhain. Now, I had started out earlier this year when I was fresh on my Druid's journey, doing some episodes based on the Wheel of the Year and the different festivals and kind of holidays. Then I stopped because it felt really kind of contrived and it didn't, for some reason, feel like it fit in. But I'm feeling really drawn to this one, partly because Samhain is one of my favorite times of the year. It's a holiday that I've always liked, even as a child, celebrating it as Halloween. The candy's always fun, but I always felt this really deep connection to kind of the energy at this time of year. And there's something about fall and the leaves coming off the trees and just gives me just a really rich feeling that I really love. And especially, I feel like this kind of heightens during this week. Samhain is, of course, October 31st, November 1st, known as the time, one of the two times of the year when the veil between worlds or between realms or dimensions is thin and you can access other parts of this world, parts of the multiverse. So without getting too off on a tangent here, I wanted to talk about some of the practical things that we can do this time of year because whether you believe in pagan stuff or not, whether you feel drawn to these kinds of holidays, doesn't matter because we're getting close to the end of the year and this is a time when naturally people start kind of winding down, evaluating what they've been doing over the last year in their lives, in their business, in their career, with their families, in all aspects of their lives. Because we are approaching December, which is the time that most people consider to be the end of the year. Well, for the pagan world, Samhain is the end of the old year and the beginning of the new year. So it's a time to say goodbye to the old, prepare for the new. It's a time of passing from one place to the next, whether you're working with different dimensions or whether you're just passing to the new year. It's a time to declutter. It's a time to let go of things, so that you can move on to that new year, to that new phase of your life. And I've spent a lot of time lately going through old journals from earlier this year and reading things and reading what I thought I would be doing this year, comparing that to what actually happened. I have been looking at belief statements that I balanced throughout the year and how those things have come out. And I've just been reevaluating what happened this year for me and did it go on track with what I thought? If you listened to last week's episode, you probably have an idea what my answer to that is. But I wanted to kind of share some of that with you and give you some ideas for how you can evaluate how your year went and look ahead to planning some things that you might want to do differently or what you want to do next year. So let's get started. So for starters, one of the things that I like to do around this time of year is to draw 12 oracle cards for each month of the coming year. And then I also started doing something differently last year where I choose a 13th card as kind of the overarching theme for the entire year. And this is something I've been doing for several years, and I really, really love doing it. So traditionally, I do this around December. This year, I actually did it in January. I'm just looking at my journal now, and it says that I did it on the 5th of January, which is later than usual. And I've been looking through it, and it's really, really fascinating to see. It's always super, super accurate. So whether or not you work with oracle cards, you might find this a fun thing to start. I really, really enjoy it. And again, I find it to be really, really accurate. So interestingly, for October, the card that I pulled was all about initiation, beginnings, something small and powerful is coming. And October is the month where I dropped everything and decided to focus on my writing for real, even though I had decided on that earlier in the year. September was healing, inspiration, a period of difficulty is over and a new cycle is beginning. August was prophecy, connection, death and rebirth. Life is cyclical. July was cleansing, something I need to release or complete before starting a new phase. So much of the stuff that came up this year was about letting go of the old and making room for the new, and healing old stuff so that new changes could come in. And the overarching theme was harvest, nourishment, abundance, celebrate the results of hard work, take time to appreciate achievements, which, to be honest, is something I'm not very good at. It's a phase of abundance and generosity and giving back. So that was all really, really relevant to how my year actually went. And I'm really interested to see how things go with the remaining 2 months that we've got, November and December. So this is a good thing to try. If you have an oracle card deck, I highly recommend that you do it if you haven't already. I have already done, because I'm starting to feel more like Samhain is the end of the year and the starting of the new year, I've already done my cards for next year. Themes for next year are all about perseverance, detoxification, chaos leading into transformation, lots and lots of stuff around healing, lots of stuff around saying farewell to things, letting go of the past. And I'm really excited about this because this is very aligned with the work that I have been doing in my personal life in terms of healing and letting go of stuff that no longer serves me and making space for new things. And it's also very much, I think, in alignment with a course that I'm doing next year that I've recently signed up for. And I'm going to share the link in the show notes in case you happen to be interested in it. So it's this plant spirit healing apprenticeship. So it's about connecting with plants and learning how to work with plants and guide people on this journey. Now, I have done a series of plant initiations with my friend Sanit Goomer over the last year. And I have really, really, really enjoyed them. And I've gotten some massively deep healing out of them. So I'm really excited to learn how to facilitate these experiences for other people. And I'm really, really excited about working in depth with the plants this way. So again, I'm going to share the link to this in the show notes, but it's all about working deeply with the plant spirits and calling on their powers to help other people heal deep stuff. So very excited about that. And I think I'm going to get a lot out of this personally, but also it will enhance my ability to work with other people on this stuff. So 2019 looks like it's going to be a time of continuing to let go of stuff and continuing to heal from stuff and transformation, which is always really exciting. Now, looking over my journals past year, one of the things that really stands out in my mind is the work that I did mindset-wise in terms of physical well-being. So I have done a ton of work on thyroid, on improving my energy levels, on weight loss, because I have felt almost like my low energy levels were kind of restricting my freedom. And freedom is one of my top 3 values in this life. So to feel like my freedom is restricted has been really, really frustrating. Like I do my kickboxing, I do my walks, I do lots of physical stuff, but I felt like I couldn't do as much as I wanted to. And I felt like when I did those things, it was more difficult than I wanted it to be and more difficult than it had been in my past. So I was looking forward to finally improve my energy levels, and I have. So if you've read my recent blog post on cracking the code to my weight loss, I've expanded on that a little bit since I first wrote that post, which was just 2 or 3 weeks ago. I will link to that into the show notes, but basically I found kind of the secret recipe to not only improving my sleep, increasing energy levels, improving my stamina and endurance when exercising, but also losing weight. And I took these actions and I made these changes because I wanted to lose the weight, but I ended up getting so many other benefits that I'm just so pleased. And it's such a relief to have finally figured out what I needed to do. So that's all in the blog post. If you have any questions about that, feel free to ask me. But I feel like these are issues that I've been working on for so long, and I did a lot of work, not just with myself, but also with other people. And I feel like that cleared the path to me actually taking the action and seeing the solution and taking action on that solution and creating the changes that I wanted to create in my life. So this is huge for me. These are 2 very huge personal issues that I've been working on for a long time, and I'm very pleased to finally be seeing results. So I also wanted to mention that this mindset work, just work with this stuff in general. Doing the mindset work and taking the action, sometimes it gives you immediate results, and sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes there are a lot of lessons that need to be learned and a lot of mindset stuff that needs to be changed and a lot of crap that needs to be healed. I first started on this mindset journey in 2013, 5 years ago, and I've been working on energy and weight loss all that time. Not saying it's going to take you 5 years to get the results that you want, but for some reason, it's taken me that long. I am very grateful to have found the actions that I needed to take. I feel like a lot of things have paid off. I'm letting go of a lot of things. I'm letting go of excess weight, letting go of a lot of things in my life that have nothing to do with the new path forward. So these are the kinds of things that I think about when I'm going through my annual review and looking at what's the work I did, what are the results that I've seen, and having all this stuff written down in my journals is massively important to this process. Unfortunately, when I first started working with Psych K and I first started changing my beliefs, I would not record the beliefs that I was changing. I would write them down on a piece of paper, and as soon as they were balanced, I would crumple it up and throw it away because those were done. I didn't need to keep them. I really like having them because it shows me what I've done and what I've changed, the things that I was worried about and the things that have completely transformed. So I find it really useful, and I just include this stuff in my regular journal. I include all my stuff in my regular journal. So some of you may know that I get weekly Akashic Records readings from Vicki Young. I will link to her in the show notes. Those are a very important part of the work that I do with myself every week. I print those out, I put them in my journal, and I work on the stuff that I get in those messages and record all of that in my journal. So my suggestion for you at this time of the year is if you journal, look through your old journals over the last 12 months, look at the work that you've done, look at what's been happening in your life, think about what you want more of, think about what you don't want more of, think about what you'd rather have instead, and plan that out for your next year, and think about what kinds of experiences you want to have and how you want to feel and what you want to experience, and then do more of that. Get that in the calendar. Make sure that stuff happens. Another thing that I had written down in my journals was that I wanted to do a lot of outdoors classes this year. And I ended up completing that. So I ended up doing my Lowland Leader course, my Lowland Leader assessment. I did my NNAS Straight to Silver navigation course. I'm going to do the gold in just a couple weeks. I did all the stuff that I wanted to do in terms of outdoor stuff. So think about that. Think about the things that you wanted to do this year. Did you do them? Can you put them into your calendar for next year and make it happen? One thing that I haven't done for the last 2 years is do a long walk. So like one of my national trails, like the Ridgeway that I did in 2016 or the South Downs Way that I did in 2015. Haven't done one of those in the last 2 years. I absolutely want to make sure that happens next year. I get so much out of those experiences, not just the walking and seeing new places. It's so much more than that. So one of the things that I'm going to start to do from early in the year is book it into the calendar for sometime early in the year, like maybe May-ish, and get it into the calendar before the hot summer begins. So that's the plan. Look at what you did, look at what you didn't do, and look at what you want to experience instead next year in 2019, and then book it to make sure that it happens. So, as I said earlier, part of this time of year is saying goodbye to the old, preparing for the new, letting go of stuff. So, think about all the stuff that you could let go of, and that means decluttering. My office is a mess. Like, I have piles of papers on my desk that I keep kind of going through, throwing stuff out, and then not doing anything with the rest. And I need to go through that and absolutely get rid of it because it distracts me and it's very annoying. My bookshelf is a mess. I need to put that together as well. Got another table in my, it's just a mess. And I really want to declutter not just my office, but every part of the house and get rid of some stuff. And we have done a little bit of that, but there's more that we need to do. And actually, my husband even expressed an interest in decluttering stuff that we have up in the loft. So I was really excited to do that, and hopefully we're going to do that later today. Worries, like, is there anything that you've been worrying about that you could let go of? The stuff that maybe you've been worrying about, is that stuff that you can take action on and make it different? Or is that something that you have no control over? And if so, just let go of it. And do any healing that you need to do to let go of this stuff. Let go of unwanted aspects of your life, unwanted people in your life, unwanted responsibilities or obligations in your life. Make a list of all the stuff that just feels really heavy and doesn't bring you joy. And just think about, could you outsource that stuff to someone? Could you get help with it? Could you just let go of it and have someone else do it? Or just pass it on to someone, or just maybe it doesn't actually need to happen. So think about all the stuff that you can declutter and let go of in your life. Because that just makes such a big difference. I know every time I declutter something, it has massive ripple effects on the rest of my life. Is there anything that you've been putting off that you need to do? Any people that you've been meaning to contact or email or whatever that you can get in touch with and get that out of your head and take action on it? There's some things that I've been meaning to do, haven't done, and it's like festering in the back of my mind, and I need to just do it. Clean out your inbox, declutter that, like whatever you need to do to clear your life of stuff, because that can also help you see new paths forward and new places to go and things to do and people to see and stuff to transform. So do your review, let go of all the stuff you need to let go of, and start planning what you want your new year to look like. What do you want to be doing differently? What do you want to be experiencing? What do you need to heal? Where do you need to travel? Where do you want to travel? What do you want to experience? Another thing you can do is write all this stuff down on a piece of paper, the stuff that you don't want to experience anymore, or the people that you want to let go of. Write it all down on a piece of paper. You could burn it. That's a ritual that I did last year, particularly with some relationships with people that I wanted to heal and transform. I did some work with them energetically and then wrote a bunch of stuff down on paper and burned it out in the grill in the garden. So that is about all for today. Now, if you want to do more work than this in terms of evaluating your year and planning for the year ahead, and you really do feel a deep connection with Samhain and the energies, I would suggest that you go to a sacred site or somewhere that's meaningful to you, get outdoors, do whatever feels right for you. So last year, around this time of year, I went to Avebury, stayed at the house, and really, really enjoyed being there. I think I was just there for 2 nights last year. Now I'm getting ready to go there for 3 nights at the house, which is still around, hasn't left yet to its new owners, and really spend a lot of time outdoors, reconnect with the energy. It's going to be really cold there, but I look forward to just being outdoors, and I look forward to getting some new stories from trees for the tree book and really tapping into the energy of the place and doing a lot of inner work with myself. I'm about to finish my current journal, so I'm bringing a brand new journal that's fresh and new and empty to do some work, and I'll probably be doing some mindset work and some energy work and going to all of my favorite places and favorite sites. So that is all for today. I also wanted to invite you, I keep talking about my Patreon group, and I would love for you to join me there. So I was originally offering extra goodies for the first 10 people that joined, but what I'm going to do is for everyone who's listening to this podcast who is interested, and for everyone in the Facebook group, which I'll be closing down, no matter what price point you join me at, I'm going to give you the extra mindset work and energy work that I do on a weekly and monthly basis between now and the end of the year. So you'll get extra goodies, even if you sign up at the $1 a month point. So you'll get that. And people are really responding well to this. I just had someone email me the other day saying that she had felt a lot of energy in the heart center, and then later saw an email pop in saying that I'd done the heart-centered energy work for the group earlier that day. So it's really good to be getting feedback from people. I really like the Patreon platform, and I'm loving what I'm sharing in there. So if you feel drawn to do so, I would love for you to join me in there. Again, we'll be closing the Facebook group, so there will be no place on Facebook to kind of engage with me and discuss stuff from the podcast and other stuff that I talk about. So Patreon is the place to go. I post stuff there that I don't post anywhere else. So if you head over to patreon.com/Holly Worton, that's patreon.com/Holly Worton, you can join me there. Membership starts at just $1 a month, and you'll get exclusive access to stuff that I don't share anywhere else, including a monthly Q&A. So that's all for now. I hope you enjoy the energy of Samhain this week. If you are listening to this and need some ideas on what to do, drop me a line, let me know. I don't know how much I'll be checking my email between Monday, Tuesday, but I will pop in and see if I can give you some ideas if you want to know what to do, where to go. That's all for now. I will be back next week with another episode, and thank you so much for listening. Remember to visit hollywharton.com/275 for the show notes on this episode. Thank you. Thanks so much for listening to Into the Woods with Holly Worton. You can find more information about today's episode, including links for topics that were discussed, at hollywharton.com. That's HOLLYWORTON.com. If you'd like to connect with other listeners and get support on your journey, I would love for you to join my private community on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Holly Worton. That's patreon.com/Holly Worton. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to seeing you next week.